Alright guys, so I'm back with another one. In this video, we're going to be going over the fact that a lot of people, aka YouTubers, talk about XRP and the fact that XRP is not for retailers. So I'm going to be playing you a clip from the JWK show, and after the clip, I'm going to make my comments, let you know how I feel about what he's saying and things like that. All right. So let's get into the clip right now.
We have a very interesting Google search about XRP. We have Federal Reserve use of XRP globally, and Google says, yes, the Federal Reserve plans to take ownership of Ripple XRP as a global payment solution. Is Ripple buying back XRP as part of their buyback program? Yes, Ripple is buying back XRP as part of their buyback program to take it out of retail hands and into institutional hands, right? So as we said, retail investors were never meant to hold XRP, but this is the first time where we have retail investors getting involved in a new market before the institution. So this is why retail investors are holding XRP, but eventually, guys, we will see most of the XRP being held by the institutions, Ripple, banks, companies, and so on. We do have...
Okay, so as you heard in the video, he's saying that it's a Google search, for one, right? It's a Google search. And in this Google search, they're saying that the Federal Reserve has plans on taking ownership of XRP as a global payment solution. Honestly, I think that is bullshit. I don't even think that is true. XRP is not going to be no global payment solution for the Fed. The Fed is going to be hardwired to XLM and also XPR, okay? XPR is going to be helping the Fed and XLM. Maybe XRP might be helping them too. I'm not too sure. But them taking over XRP, that's not happening. That's BS, right? Just total BS. I don't know where a lot of these guys get their news from, where they get their information from, but it's a lie. They're not going to take over no XRP. They're not doing that. The second thing is the buyback. There's not going to be a buyback program for XRP. That's not happening, okay? The one thing we have to keep in mind is that it's not that much people that's holding XRP for them to want to do a buyback. It's not millions of people holding XRP. You may have maybe about 700,000 people holding XRP. Maybe that amount. It's not millions. And even if it's touching a million, it's maybe around 2 million, if that, okay? And out of that 2 million, most people are probably holding 100 to 200. There's no set of people holding XRP like that. Okay, even when these guys do the videos where they're showing you the wallets, okay, if they're showing you the wallets, and for example, because I can't remember right now off the top of my head the actual number, but as an example, if they tell you that there's 1 million wallets holding XRP, you actually have to divide that in about 3. So you have to take that million and divide it by at least 3. That's where you're going to get the real ballpark average of how much people are actually holding XRP. For the simple fact of the matter that every wallet address counts as a wallet that's holding XRP. Every wallet address. So if one person is holding XRP in 3 different wallets, well, that's 3 different addresses that is added onto that number of people that's holding XRP in wallets. So, and even exchange addresses is all included in that, right? So if you are someone that's holding XRP on exchanges and in wallets, guess what? All those wallets are counted in that whole count of the amount of wallets that's holding XRP. So that whole buyback crap, to me, it's just total BS. I don't know where they got that information from either, but when I heard people talking about this early on, I knew it was BS. I just knew it. It's all this false information coming out about the coin and about, the addresses and how much people are holding. All of it is just total BS. There is not that much people holding. Now, when we talk about the other point that he made, which was the buyback program being a part of them trying to take the coins out of retail hands so that only institutions can have it, because retailers were not supposed to hold it, is what he said, right? He's like, as we've been saying, retailers are not supposed to hold it. Okay, that whole statement right there is false. That whole statement, a lot of these YouTubers don't know what they're talking about. When they say, or when the talk has come out that it's not meant for retail, well, when they say that, they are talking specifically about retailers using XRP, not using XRP, but using the XRP ledger for payments, right? So XRP is not going to be used the way how XLM is going to be used, the way how SHX is going to be used, the way how XPR is going to be used. XRP is not going to be used like that, right? It's not going to be used for your everyday payments, right? Paying bills and all of that. That your money's not running through XRP like that. XRP is to handle bulk payments through the banks. That's why they say that it's not meant for retail. Not that retail investors can't hold it, because if retail investors couldn't hold it, trust and believe they will not have it available for you to buy it. If retailers could not buy it, they will not have it available. No one would have ever seen the light of day when it comes to this coin. They would have never seen it. So when they say that, it is not that, oh, you can't hold it so they're going to take it away. No, that's not what it is. That's not what it is. That's far from the truth. It is not meant for retail use, meaning to do retail shopping, groceries, paying bills, paychecks, right? Credit card payments. It's not made for that. Yes, XRP does have deals and partnerships with MasterCard and Visa card and stuff like that. Yes, they do. However, those companies also need to move bulks of money. That's why XRP is going to be, that's why XRP is, that's why they're going to use XRP, because those companies have to move money in bulk as well. It's not for your everyday use, like to go to McDonald's or Burger King or, whatever your favorite restaurant is. No, that's not what they designed it for. They designed it to move bulks of money for the banks. So when they say it's not for retail, that's what they're talking about. They're not talking about the dumb shit that these other people are talking about. Because again, you will not have been able to even buy this coin if that was the case. You would not be able to own it if that was the case. Since 2020, when the court case happened, they would have shut it down where you could not buy it at all. And they would have stopped everybody from buying it. So everybody that has been buying into it since 2020, they would not have been able to accumulate as much as they did if it was really that type of situation. That's not the situation. But you have YouTubers like this that come out and put out this news and put out this false information and have people listening to this dumb shit. And this is the stuff that gets me mad, because they're putting out the wrong information and giving the wrong impression about these stuff. That's not what it is. It is very simple. XRP is not meant to move no small amounts of money every hour. They're meant to use it for bulk payments. That's how they're meant to be used, right? So you're talking about them needing to move about $1 trillion an hour. That's how they're meant to be used. And that's just one bulk payment, which is why the price of the coin has to be high, because they're just made to move one bulk payment at a time, and that's it. That's why it just needs to be used by the banks. That's why. It has nothing to do with you as a retail investor buying it. It has nothing to do with that. But they hear the term retail and automatically they're thinking that they're talking about them. No, they're not talking about you, you dumbass. They're not talking about you. They're simply just talking about retail use, meaning going to the store, buying like a pair of sneakers or some shit like that. That's what they're talking about. It's not meant for that. XLM is made for that. XPR is made for that. SHX is made for that. Those things are made for that. Not even XDC. XDC is basically just like XRP, just made to settle one set of bulk payments, and that's it. That's how XDC is also designed. It's not designed to be handling like, credit card transactions and debit card transactions. No, it's not made for that. That's what XLM is for. That's why they call XLM the people's coin. The people's coin meaning people are going to be operating on the XLM blockchain all day, every day. People are going to be operating on the XPR blockchain all day, every day. People are going to be operating on the SHX blockchain every day, all day, because that's what those blockchains are built for. I hope I didn't say SHX twice. Also XPR as well, right? That's made for that. More retail use, not XRP. XRP is made for more institutional use because, again, there's a difference when it comes to this thing called money. There's banking money and then there's cash money. Both of those things are different. They're two different things. Money is what banks use to do business between banks. Cash money is what we use, right? Regular folks use cash money because you have cash in your wallet and you take it out and you pay for goods and services, right? We use cash money. We also use bank money as well through your debit card, right? We also use that too. But then you also have the credits and debits, which that's another type of money. So these people really don't understand what they're talking about. They really don't. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I did a video on, if I remember correctly, is on cash, right? I have the video that I need to do for money so that you can see the difference, because there's a difference between cash and there's a difference between money. And then there's a difference between digital money, which is credits and debits and shit like that, right? Also, when it comes to stablecoin, right? Stable coins are called stablecoin cash for a reason. They're called stablecoin cash for a reason. Reason being is that stable coins are going to be the new cash. CBDCs is going to be what the banks use. I also have to do a video on that as well, because there was another guy who was talking about CBDCs and he was completely wrong about that shit. Completely wrong. Because again, these guys don't understand the way how the shit is made and how it's built. CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. They're telling you what it is. It's a central bank digital currency, meaning that banks are going to be using that to do business with each other, send money to each other. XRP is definitely going to be a central bank digital currency because banks are going to be using it. RLUSD is going to be a stable coin cash coin, which that is going to be the new cash. But you have all of these idiots that just talk all of this dumb shit and they poisoning everyone. They're poisoning everyone's fucking brain. It gets me really, really, really mad. That's enough for this video. If you are not subscribed, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. And if you are subscribed, make sure that you really are subscribed, because YouTube is playing the fool and taking some of my subscribers away as I'm trying to grow. So please make sure and subscribe to the channel. I would love for you to visit me again. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. This is Thomas Bain. I'm out of here.